in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you. In the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you.
Hey guys, welcome to the Starcraft 2 AI live stream, week 7. I am here with Tia and
Hi.
Sonko.
Hi there.
We're going old school tonight. We're going to go look at some Brood War stuff, and we've got Sonko and Tia. Your bot was originally Brood War, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
So you came in, and how have you found the transition between Brood War and Starcraft 2?
Well, I like StarCraft 2 a lot myself, so that's nice. In terms of transitioning, well, there's a lot of stuff that needed to be rebuilt from the ground up, basically. Kind of like restarting all your work. But I did find it kind of nice to be able to get a fresh start and fix some of the stuff that wasn't working as well in my old bot. So that was nice.
Cool. Awesome. And Sonko, you've been working hard on the Schnail thing. How is it pronounced? Is it Schnail or Schnail or?
Yeah, it is. It is Schnell. It's with a German beginning of the word, so to speak.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a kind of a. Yesterday, I made this that it's a kind of a joke because I live in Germany, but it's not necessarily a good joke, but it is one. And we were trying to make up a good acronym because the original name of the project was Bladder, as in bot ladder, and anything is better than that. So it's.
I think Bladder would get a lot of laughs. So yeah.
Yeah, but it's not really a name that I want to go public with. So therefore, we were actually searching for a good acronym / name to call the project, and finally, it was someone suggested something similar, but I made it that it is almost a snail, but it's Snail.
Snail. Sounds good anyway. So yeah, before we start, let's have a look at some of the results from this week. Sorry, wrong one. So yeah, Micro Machine again, top of the ladder. GentsyBot finishing second and catching that second qualification spot. You're in 10th this week. That's probably a bit lower than your normal, I think. But still doing quite well. And let's have a look at the overall standings quickly. So Micro Machine is utterly dominating. Sharpened Edge and Gentsy very close in second, and 3OI Lover only a point behind in third, which is very close. So, but yeah, you're doing okay.
How many participants are in that ladder?
21, I think.
22 since the start of the ladder. So this is only for going for a few weeks, 7 weeks now. So there's still plenty of time if you fancy making a Starcraft 2 bot, Sonko.
Well, actually, the first idea was to just get a sneak peek into the Starcraft 2 AI scene, and down the line, I might want to do something with Starcraft 2, but not in the near future. Not because I have so many projects lined up. I don't think it will be soon, but maybe eventually. And I find StarCraft 2 AI interesting, even though I myself don't enjoy the game as much as Brood War. I like StarCraft 2, but I like Brood War more.
Yeah. No, that's perfectly understandable. And you're doing a good job with Brood War at the moment. So who knows, I may end up developing a Brood War bot. I was originally trying when the StarCraft 2 API came out, and then I just completely switched over. So yeah, that's in my big bin of unfinished projects, which I'm sure we all have, right?
A lot have improved, even since I'm in the scene. Not because of me, but coincidentally, a lot of the API stupidity was fixed, and I think we have much more tools available now, and more collaboration, and not just the API itself, but some common libraries have became widespread, and they are maintained, and not just a community effort, but people who are making these libraries, like Terrain Analyzer and Combat Simulator libraries, are working on them continuously. And yeah, it's just you don't have to solve all the same problems all over again.
Yeah, no, it's really good. And like I've noticed with the snail thing, one of the problems that we had when we were trying to implement human versus AI was we were dealing with so many different APIs that it was very difficult to like get a system where you could download a single bot, a single kind of like executable which could run every single bot when you had kind of like Python bots, Java bots, C++ bots. I was wondering, is that something you have a lot of problems with in Snail? Or?
Well, the basic answer is I don't do that. I have different processes to run different type of bots. It's kind of silly though, because the main categories are exe bots. Those are quite simple. You run the exe and join. Java bots, and for that I have a bundled GRE with the Schnell downloader. So if you download it, you download little bit gutted GRE, which is needed to run the bots, and so I can lock down that environment. Running bots on the users, relying on the user's Java version, that's just bad. And I will say some stuff about that as well. And you have DLL bots, which are kind of easier, but figuring all this out was not.
Yeah. No, I had my own dealings with that, and the solution that I came up with was trying to run the bots on a server and connect to the local kind of client, which was, yeah, that didn't work out too well because the server was was kind of a bit slow. So we're still working on getting something that for Starcraft 2, but you know, it sounds good. But yeah. But yeah, so how did the kind of like show match about Artosis come about? And
He was saying for a time now that he wants to try this out. I think when I was invited to the Pylon show, that's when he said it publicly first. But even before that, there was mentioning that, oh, this looks cool. He might want to try it out. But we didn't fix anything, or there were no fixed date or promise or stuff. And yeah, basically it was last week's Pylon show, the one before the. Oh,
sorry, that was my phone. I have hung up. I should put it on silent. Go ahead. Sorry.
so the last show before the last. How do you say that? The one before the last. He was saying that, oh, I want to play them soon. And this week he said, yeah, I want to play them tomorrow or Monday. And then I realized that the Korean tomorrow is actually that day. So I had to frantically fix everything. And well, it was kind of ready because there were the Cadenzi show matches before that, and we had the client ready, but not every bot was running under Schnell. Most importantly, Purple Wave was having problems on Schnell, although I should say it was kind of the other way around. Schnell wasn't providing Purple Wave with everything, so I don't want to blame the bot author. It was not expected or known beforehand. Just a side note. So sadly, Purple Wave we couldn't get Purple Wave running under Schnell for the Artosis show matches. I'm still sad about that. And yeah, basically that's how. I was in contact with the Pylon show guys before that. I was just submitting some AI news, and eventually I was quite surprised when they invited me, and yeah, after that.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So, Tira, have you kept up with your Brood War bot? You're fully focused on StarCraft 2 now.
I'm mostly focused on StarCraft 2. I do try to keep up with the scene a bit, with big things going on, big tournaments, and everything going on with Schnell. But I don't really develop it anymore. So I'm fully focused on StarCraft 2.
Cool. So with your bot, like I noticed that because originally you tried a bot with all 3 races, that was quite impressive. So you fully focused on like Protoss now.
Yeah, I'm mostly focused on Protoss. I would like to get back to the other races, but it's really a matter of time, how much time I can spend on it.
Yeah.
And also, well, one of the reasons is against Micro Machine, my Protoss right now stands the best chance, and I'm not entirely sure. I feel like if I wanted my other races to do well against that, I'd have to work on that for like a couple of months, and then I wouldn't be able to work on any of the other matchups in the meantime. So that's also part of the reason.
Yeah, well, that's good. So I don't know if you want to just quickly jump in and take a look at one of the replays from your bot. Sorry, say it right. I don't know. Have you both got the replays that I sent you?
Yep, ready and.
Cool. So which one do you want to go for first? I was going to have a look at the one against Gensi. Okay, if that's all right with you guys.
Sure.
Cool. just load that up. Let me know when you've got that loaded up, guys.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so in terms of actual gameplay and like how you're programming the strategies, is there kind of like a very big difference between kind of like Starcraft 2 and Brood War?
I think the basic answer is yes. I didn't program Ast SC2 bot myself, so I can't say much about that. But that's the general consensus. They are basically completely different games from that perspective.
Okay, so because I noticed you started development in kind of like C#, which
Yeah,
so obviously that's different from how you modeled the your Brood War bot. Because I think that was C++, wasn't it?
that was Java,
Oh,
my
sorry.
brute robot. Yeah, I started in C#. Well, I guess that's just my favorite language. For Brute War, there were mostly C++ and Java available when I started. There's, I think, now a couple of other options as well. But for my StarCraft 2 bot, I actually developed the C# AI, the C# API myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of the strategy in StarCraft 2 versus Brood War, it's of course a completely different game. But I guess a lot of the basic things like expansions and collecting minerals and building an army, a lot of that is still sort of similar.
So let me know when you guys are ready to go, if you've got it all loaded up.
Yes, I've got it.
Ready, and we will watch it on faster and just in real time, right?
Yeah. So
okay,
going in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so your spot is the Protoss bot up in the top left.
Yes.
Up against GenCbot, who is currently the second place bot on the ladder. Yeah, so he has quite an interesting strategy. Generally tends to be very marine heavy. But yeah, I just want to go back to kind of like the API and the C# API, because I know you developed that yourself. We had Chippy on last week, who also develops his own API in Go. Do you find that's like a big advantage for you to be able to just be in full control of everything?
Well, the basics all goes through the protobuf protocol, which is defined by Blizzard. So there's not really that much advantage there. But I do find it nice to have at least the bot itself built from the ground up. I have everything the way I wanted it. One of the things in my Brood War bot, it used the terrain analysis BWTA library.
Yeah.
And that library's got a couple of problems. For instance, it's usually very slow to load, but it does cache the analysis for each map. So the first time you start it on a map, it takes a very long time, and after that it's okay. But there's stuff like that that's kind of annoying, and it's hard to fix because it's also written in C++, so it's not that easy to get into your Java program, and if you want to fix it, that's difficult. So I do like that I have everything under my own, in my favorite programming language, under my own control.
Yeah, so go ahead, sorry.
Speaking of BWTA, yeah, I can second that notion. It is a good library, but we consider it a little bit outdated at this point.
Yeah.
I have to, since I'm supporting a lot of legacy bots, because bot authors understandably didn't prepare for the Snail environment just yet, I have to provide this BWTA cache for the maps that are enabled on Snail. And but I want to phase that out. And one day I might say, okay, no cash for the new maps because it's just let's just move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how does the Brood War sort of like interface differ from like the protobuf interface that Blizzard provides for StarCraft 2?
Well, the basics is still you get the every frame you get to all the data of every unit in the game and upgrades and stuff like that, and you have to send commands to get your workers to do stuff. So
It's pretty similar in that regards then.
yeah.
So yeah, I noticed didn't have quite a great reaction to this Reaper coming across there. Got a few little probes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But still managed to chase them away, so it's not too bad.
I do have the Reaper roll up, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, but he can still get across the kind of like bit to the right of that, I think.
I think I might be a little bit behind.
I'm
I'm
almost at 4.
4 minutes and 1 second now.
Yeah, I'm a bit behind too.
Ah.
And I did just see that Reaper jump up the cliff, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm about the in my screen the Reaper is chased back,
Yeah.
but we are around the same timestamp, I guess.
Yeah, I think we're about even. So yeah, kind of like what is the strategy going for at the moment on this?
Yeah, this is one of the macro strategies for tier. So it knows a lot of different strategies, and there's a lot of cheese strategies in there. But every once in a while, it also does some macro. So it's the basic idea is to build up and get a big army. But I think in this game, it's taking the third a bit too early. It's being a bit too greedy.
Yeah.
Because it has barely any army, and Jensibot is currently building up a lot faster. I just see it salvaged its bunker, and I think that's a sign it's moving out.
Yeah.
Generally, in SC2, do you have the same amount of bases, or like in a modern Brood War, like 3 bases, kind of the manageable amount by a human, and bots kind of follow that meta with some exceptions whom macro up heavily. Is that similar in SC2?
You often get quite a few more bases. If it's a real macro game, then 5 bases is pretty common, and it can go beyond that if it lasts long.
And you can defend 5 bases.
Yeah, it's doable,
easily, but yeah. I think Micro Machine, which is the bot that's kind of like top of the ladder at the moment, kind of ends up getting pretty much every single base on the map eventually.
Yeah. The thing with the bots, at least, is that they most of them don't harass the different bases too much. But Micro Machine is everywhere at the same time, so that makes it very tricky to hold a lot of bases.
I noticed that you seem to have engaged in siege tank range.
Yeah.
Yes, this is very bad. Also, my units aren't really focusing the siege tank, and they're dying pretty fast. So my bot really should have had more army at this point if it wanted to win, and it really shouldn't have engaged there. It was also kind of out of position. The Jensibot attacked at the third, and my army only started moving there after it arrived.
I mean, it needs to be able to get onto the back of that siege tank somehow.
Yeah.
It's kind of not really. I think the problem also is you're sending units in not one at a time and trying to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so. Is it a case where you try to like grab a bunch of units, or will you kind of like just send everything in as soon as it arrives when it's defending like that?
It usually sends everything in as it arrives. I do have a combat simulator which would be capable of saying, well, should I engage here or not? But it's not actually that, at this point, not that great at making those judgments. Especially siege tanks are very difficult to properly estimate. I think my combat simulator usually overestimates them, which leads to the problem that you never actually attack into them and they just kill everything anyway. So that's not good either.
I see that your bases are oversaturated with workers. What's up with that? Are you preparing for a worker transfer?
I think my workers left the third base when it was attacked.
I see. But Jensi's bases are also oversaturated and he's still making SCVs.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. You usually, a couple of extra workers will get you some extra minerals. It says 16 per base is the maximum, but you can get a bit more minerals with a few more workers. But you usually want to take an expansion by that point.
Is there mining optimizations in SC2 as well, or you just get the mining rate for everyone the same, and no matter what you do? Like no mineral locking and such.
Mineral locking can help. I have that implemented in my bot, and there's a couple of other things. I think you have closed mineral patches and far mineral patches, where I think at the start you would prefer the closed mineral patches. But I know in Brood War there has been a lot of research into this by the bot developers to see exactly how efficient everything is, and we don't have that for Starcraft 2 to the same degree.
Yeah.
That
I think you do get more, but it's kind of more diminishing return at that point. Like, the more you throw on there, the less you get per worker, essentially.
Yeah, but I mean, with using some clever algorithm, getting more from the same amount of workers, is that a thing in SC2?
I think I've seen something like that, but I don't think I'm not aware of any of the bots using it.
I think I was talking to Chippy Dip last week about Perfect Split, and that one does try to use an algorithm for that, but it's only for the initial split. It's not for kind of like a he doesn't do it every frame, one frame. It's just the initial where you send the worker the first frame type of thing.
And I see the Terran army moving out.
Yes, that's a very big army.
Yeah.
Tyr really doesn't have enough.
No. So do you have like an algorithm of when your army would move out at this point, or?
It's mostly about the army size. If it says it has enough units, there's a certain number of units. It's different for each build.
Yeah.
Here at this point, my bot really should have been in position to begin with.
Yeah.
It gets kind of lucky that these siege tanks are in the front, but yeah.
It's
really too late now.
I think half of your army got stuck at the back there. The stalkers just couldn't really fire at anything.
Yeah.
They melted quite quickly.
Yeah. So now you're just down to 8 worker supply.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jinty's... But yeah, I mean, so I think kind of like having a more macro build there is kind of like something that if you rolled up and attacked him early, you possibly would have done a bit better. When you're selecting a strategy for a game, do you kind of like look at all the previous strategies and see which is the best one?
Yeah, I try to look at different strategies and how well they do against a bot. I often also check for a bot on the ladder, either AI Arena or SC2 AI, like different bots. So if some other bot has found a winning strategy against it, and then I see if I have something similar, or sometimes I just come up with something myself if I think there's a weakness.
Yeah. So that's it. GG.
Oh, GG.
That's cool.
Yes, GG.
So yeah, I think like at the moment, sort of like Terrans seem to be dominating quite a lot on the SC2 ladder. I'm not sure if Brood War is similar, or is that?
Well, in Brood War, it's mostly Protoss followed by Terran, which is dominating currently.
Okay. What do you think is the reason behind that? Is it just OP strategies?
I think because the Protoss is the race in Brood War where you can get a lot of advantages by having good micro, and like microing well. The added benefit of microing well is maybe the best for Protoss. Is they have this kind of elite, little bit stronger, more expensive units, and if you manage them well, then you get more advantage of that. And yeah, that's kind of it. Also, it could be just random happenstance because we don't have a large enough sample size.
No. Well, I mean, to be fair, like if you look at the top of the ladder that we've got, I think Gensi and Micro Machine are kind of like top two Terrans, and then we've got Sharpened Edge and Three-Way Lover of Protoss. And then Zerg aren't too far behind, to be fair, Kagame and Spiny. But I get the sense that that's, again, because like a lot of the authors choose like that race. But yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything against Zerg. I think Zerg would actually make some really nice strategies, but they haven't been as successful so far. So yeah.
The current ProBots tournaments, there's 4 bots left, and 2 of those are Zerg, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
There's 2 Zergs, there's Tyr, and there's Micro Machine.
The Terran. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to interject a lot during the match because at this point I can only provide the guy in the chat experience, I guess.
Oh no, feel free. Just come in and
I think you should have made more units than the enemy, and then you have won.
Yeah, that's a very good idea.
Yeah, but yeah,
I saw I saw Impy in chat mentions charge slots and also storms or colossus, which are also good ideas. But the charge slots I've tried, but what I find very difficult is to take good engagements with them, because a lot of the time they tend to run ahead a bit and get killed, and I find it very hard to use them properly. Colossus and Storms are also a good idea. You really need some form of area of effect against all the bio. But Colossus tend to get shut down pretty quickly by Vikings, and Storms are doable but can be split against very well by bots. I do want to try those out again sometime. I've had them in the past and they seemed kind of not too great, but I think they could be very good, maybe.
Yeah, there was a very great split we had on one of the tournaments once. I can't remember which bot it was now. But yeah, in one of the tournaments where basically someone threw a disruptor shot, and it was literally a perfect split of all the Marines around it that just kind of like walked around this disruptor shot. It's like no way any human could do that, but it was absolutely amazing to see. I'll post a link to the video of that at some point soon. But yeah, I did see your match against Kagame on the ProBots tournament.
Yes.
That was a bit fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do love that new Tickles build.
Yeah.
With the
I don't think Sonko knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, for anyone who didn't see it, Tyr found a great new worker rush build that basically sent in the workers after he got 2 zealots in, and basically just you've got the entire worker line and 2 zealots, and that's all you need. You just take out the entire workers.
And
Yes.
what's the win rate on that?
Well, in the ProBots, the ProBots is the only tournament where I've used it so far, and it won 2 games. Both games it played. So yeah, it's really a kind of silly strategy. It's like it shouldn't work. It definitely wouldn't work against a human player, but a bot needs to realize what's going on and respond properly to be able to beat it. So it kind of beats the opponents in that way.
forgive my ignorance, but then these tournaments are like elimination bracket.
Yeah, the Probots is currently elimination brackets. It's that's also a big difference between Brood War and the StarCraft 2 tournaments, because in Brood War you have a lot of tournaments where you have like the 99 or 100 round robin style tournaments, but in StarCraft 2 it's mostly all elimination. So you sometimes have a 1 or 2 round robin to start, but then it's the top bots go into an elimination round, and so that's really a lot fewer games than you see in, for instance, AIIDE or COG.
Yeah. So yeah, my thinking on that is like it's because it does take a lot more to run the games in Windows, because we can't obviously run the games on the headless client, which makes it more difficult. But yeah, it's it's a bit more difficult with that. So in Brood War, does the worker rush really exist, and does that kind of work?
There is a very strong worker rush bot called Stone on Brood War, which is very difficult to beat, but I mean all the top bots can beat it for sure. But it's very tricky to get right. And I also think Purple Wave has the purple tickles bot, which does a probe rush also.
Yeah, I think we might have lost Sonko. His videos.
It's a bit frozen, I think.
Frozen. Yeah, it's frozen in time. That's what happens in Germany under lockdown. Hold on, I will have a look. See if he's. Sorry, I have the loudest keyboard in existence, so you'll have to excuse me there. But yeah, give him a second to get back. Yeah, I was going to have a look at some Brood War replays as well, but I'm not sure if we can do that. Do we want to go through a Starcraft 2 replay while we're waiting for him? Or
yeah, that's fine.
So I think we wanted to go through the one against Gumbies.
Yes.
Just for some fun. Let's do that. Yeah, this should be a fun one. Yeah, so my bot literally hasn't been updated since like the second week, and I keep planning on updating it. And like I just haven't got to it just yet, but hopefully it should be coming next week in theory. I know I say that every week, but the updates will come next week. I promise you guys.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Let me know when you're good to go.
It's loading.
But yeah, so I think
it's loaded up for me.
Cool. Okay. I'll just put the game stream on. Okay, ready to go in 3, 2, 1. Oh wait. Ah, okay. Yeah, sorry, the game. Okay, let's go. Try that again. Sorry. Ready to go in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right.
Okay, so
I already like your quotes from Monty Python.
of course. Where else? I've got to do the whole British thing. So.
Yes. I'm wondering if you do use Monty Python codes. I don't think you're actually programmed your bot in Python.
No, unfortunately I didn't. I really should have done, shouldn't I? But
yeah.
No, it's C++. Although I have looked at the Sharpie framework, it does look very good. So
yeah, it's really amazing.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good place to start your bot.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll convert to that. I need to do something. But no, I've got a bunch of updates that I want to put out this week. But yeah, so I go for my usual. Start off with a nice little proxy.
Yes. The build Tyr's going to do, this is actually a Tickles build. It's a Sentry only build.
It's amazing.
I had some fun last December trying to make a Sentry only bot work, and it's doing kind of nicely, but it's not really very high on the ladder or anything. I put it on AI Arena.
Yeah.
But it is fun to watch at times.
It must be really difficult to just because you're doing virtually no damage. You just have to kind of deny and.
It's really deceptive how much damage they actually do. You don't realize it. I think it's similar to the damage of a stalker. It's just that they're really get expensive, so you don't get that many.
Yeah.
They can be quite effective. They also do bonus damage versus light, I think. So they're actually pretty good versus zealots.
Yeah. So here with my usual 4 gateways.
Yes.
Hopefully you'll be able to get a couple of them out before I send my stalkers in. Stalkers? Zealots.
Zealots, yeah, we'll have to see. First one is getting chronoed out now. There's also a shield battery on the way for defense.
Yep. Sorry, I'll just grab Sonko back in here.
All right.
Hey Sonko, sorry, we didn't know if you're coming back, so we started one of the games.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, my internet just dirt out.
Okay.
I
So
guess everyone is online at this time, and
yeah.
Yes.
So you can either jump into the replay and we can pause it for you, or you can watch the stream.
I think I will watch the stream. I don't have much to add. I don't Starcraft
I don't know.
much.
There is an attack coming at this moment.
Oh, here we go. Oh no.
Bit late on the force field, but most of the zealots are out, so it's all right, I guess. And the shield battery is really helping out against it too.
Oh, these poor zealots are never going to get in there.
I think the Orbi boys will win against the Stabby boys.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, at this point, basically there isn't much that Gumbies can do because, well, it would work if it actually took an expand and, did anything else. But with zealots, it's definitely not getting in here.
No, it's it could just basically keep it force fielded pretty much forever with that many.
Yeah, I think you need 4, maybe 5 sentries to keep place force fielded forever. So.
Oh dear.
Yet again, this is something that can only work in a bot match.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because human would just pull back.
Human would pretty much just sit down there and take.
Just put those zealots in front of it and take 3 bases and you're fine.
Yeah. Unfortunately, my bot doesn't take 3 bases at the moment. Yeah. There was actually a build I put in week 2 which did that, but it wasn't very successful, so I took it out again. But this one's getting in, and the rest aren't.
Yeah, and you can see there's actually quite a bit of damage that the sentries do against the zealots.
Yeah, it's more than I expected, actually. Oh.
Beautiful.
Yes.
That poor guy.
And now they're moving out, but this is actually a bit of a problem. You'll see soon enough. Because I don't think Tyr hasn't scouted anything. It hasn't seen the proxy, hasn't moved out of its base, so it's going straight for the enemy.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to have a base race.
Yes.
I have never seen sentries in a base race. This is amazing.
No, this is also something that can only happen in a bot game.
Yeah.
That the sentries which basically couldn't actually lose against the zealots in any way, just managed to lose anyway. So now the probes are defending the zealots instead, and the shield battery is trying its best, but that's not really enough.
Yeah, it's not going to go as well for them.
Nope.
Oh, so yeah, I need to stop this chat flood.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, oh, you've got the hallucinations in there as well.
It's hallucination.
What the hell?
It uses all its spells: hallucinations, force fields. It also has some special force field logic against melee versus ranged units, because against the melee you want to keep the force fields kind of close to the sentries, but against ranged you want to sort of split the enemy army.
It looks like they are pulling it up with a rope, like with the Amish people with the barns, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I love this.
Oh, but that's... So how far are we doing on this? Yeah, it looks like you're winning this base race, but like
Well,
I've got this over here, so...
You have your proxy, so that's a problem, because my sentries are going to have to move all the way over there. I do think you have been revealed already, so my sentries know where they have to go, because you lost your last base, but
so,
that's still a very long way to go.
Yeah.
Really, it should have used a recall at this point. That would really have been amazing.
Oh yeah, but then your base is already gone, so...
Yeah, it just fell. It had some time before that. It already had your base, your nexus was already down, so it could have done that, but... Or, just not go for the base race, but take care of the proxy, but...
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be close.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to get it.
The last few buildings in my base are getting turned down, so it's not looking that good.
Oh, and it's just leaving it for this guy to do. Sorry.
I think my sentries got close to the main base, so now they feel like they have to defend the main base instead of keeping attacking. But really, it doesn't matter at this point.
And you call GG.
If the Python had been just a little bit further, I think none of your zealots would have attacked it, and I might have won. But no, that's GG.
Yeah.
Well done.
That was funny to see.
Yeah. As I say, my bot is pretty bad at the moment, but it's getting some updates this week, so yeah, it should be better. Yeah, I've got some special tactics now. I won't say too much, but that's all good. But yeah, I'm guessing kind of like on Brood War as well, like rushes are quite like prevalent at the moment.
They are, but I think the top bots have pretty well counters against them. It's no one tactic beat. So we were talking about this yesterday. There are a lot of so-called seal clubbing builds where you basically rush a weaker bot and boost your win rate a little bit.
Yeah.
And a slightly better bot will just counter it. And they realize it, and that's not a winning strategy. And except for seal clubbing, the top bots don't really employ it anymore.
Yeah, it's called seal clubbing.
Yeah,
I like that. That's brings up a lot of nice, friendly imagery.
of course. But it's so apt. It's like perfectly describing, and you instantly know what it means.
Yeah.
That's also partly a result of the tournament structure, I think, with those big round robin style tournaments. If the winner is determined by the number of wins, total wins. Doesn't matter if it's a high ranked opponent or not. So it's very important to have a very consistent win rate against all of the weaker bots, because otherwise you'll just lose points unnecessarily.
Oh yeah, we talked about that yesterday as well, that the win rate is good in bot versus bot matches, but in bot versus human matches, it's probably not the best metric that you can have. And bots will have to adapt and drop these silly strategies. This is one of the things that we saw in the Art of this stream as well, Lokitus just went into a dumb Zealot rush and lost badly.
Yeah, exactly. It's the sort of thing that works against the weaker bots, but against humans, you really shouldn't try that.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I've been on a few ladder games where I've seen some weird rushes work, but
Yeah,
it
can
can
work,
be fun.
but especially for a bot to pull it off versus a human, the moment it scouts your rush, you already have a problem. If a human scouts a bot's rush, then they usually can figure out what's going on, and if they're any good, then you really have a problem as a bot.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that I think Broodable tournaments, again, going back to this, it's like you can play like 100 games against a bot in a tournament. And like the problem that like we've kind of like moved away from that a bit with the SE2 AI ladder. I think the main reason that a lot of the time you were seeing like if you're playing like 20 games of one bot against another, they'd only have like about 2 or 3 builds each. And like you'd quickly get to a situation where the games would play out exactly the same every single time. And it's just like a lot of the time it's not worth kind of like watching that in a way.
Brood War,
No,
most of the top bots have quite a few different strategies. There's a
Yeah.
couple of them that can manage with just a single build, but it's very difficult to pull off.
Yeah.
it's kind of rare to have any significant success with just one build.
Yeah.
Although there are some strategies that are worth exploring, and if you perfect your just a made up example, I don't know, marine micro or zergling movement, there are a lot to be researched in that area. Perfect pathfinding, forming concaves, taking good engagements. You don't need many builds for that, but it's kind of orthogonal to the build order problem. You have to have both, and they are multiplying each other's effectiveness. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Right, okay, I'll have a look and we'll see if we can load up on the Brood War replays. Sorry, I might have just heard the opening Starcraft music, which is quite loud. I think I need to turn the sound down on that.
So the first replay I bought I just grabbed it from the Schnell replays, and it is actually, I don't even know the player who posted it, and I'm really curious about this. This is not something I saw before, but apparently this is a bot called AI Alien with AI in the AI Alien, and yeah, let's see what happens. I really don't know. This is basically the first genuine Schnell replay that we get to watch. And can you find the stuff that I posted?
I can't actually.
Okay.
Could you post the replay?
Just a second. There is the Europe. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to depart again because someone is at the door.
Okay.
Okay, be back in like 10 minutes.
Yeah. You'll have to give me.
Sorry, guys, about this.
That's all right. Yeah, sorry guys, we'll be with you in a few minutes. I just need to sort out some Brood War replay stuff. Right. I can't get to Starcraft Remastered. But yeah, anyway, we'll be back with Sonko in a minute. But yeah, so I don't know. So yeah, that last game against Gumby's, it's quite fun to have those little base rushes occasionally, I guess. But,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I've never really seen sentries as a big kind of damage unit. They're more just kind of like spellcasters, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, they really are. well, people do tend to underestimate them because of that, but they really shouldn't be used that way. But it's surprising how far you can get with them.
Yeah.
There was one streamer, I can't remember his name right now. There was someone who did a bronze to GM stream with only mass sentries.
Yeah.
Well, I think he got to Masters, didn't actually reach GM, but he managed to get to Masters in StarCraft 2 with just sentries. And he had some amazing sentry drops and force field hallucinations. Lots of really crazy stuff. It was very fun to watch.
Nice.
I watched those replays while working on my own sentry build.
Oh wow. Yeah. No, so like something that I want to build in is a lot more Phoenix play. I don't think there's a lot of like good Phoenix play on the ladder at the moment. So
yeah, Tyr does a bit of Phoenix.
Yeah.
All right, Yamabushi mentions in chat it was Beastie Cutie who did the Sentry stream. That's right.
Yeah.
That was very fun. Yeah. Phoenixes can also be quite good. I use a bit of that. I find they are very effective against micro machines, so I like to use them there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually something that I think would work very well against Micro Machine because you do have that more mobility-based focus game.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Apparently, a neighbor's fire alarm went off, but it was a false alarm. So, all good.
Right, so how do I get into your replay?
Just a second. I will create a replay viewing party. Let's try that again. And this is Brood War Europe. I have to turn back my camera. I posted the name in the chat. And if not, then I don't know. Maybe I will send it to you and try the other way.
Hold on. If I can. How do I get into it in the remastered client? Sorry, I haven't played this much, as you can probably tell.
Just go to multiplayer, the Europe, whatever, Battle.net server, and you will see the game there. Games are listed in the same place as the
Is it in the custom game thing?
No, multiplayer, then Battle.net, then just you will see a ladder or something, and you should see it there. Hey, do you have any luck joining?
I think I'm going to just watch the stream. I'm not even sure I have remastered installed on this PC.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you'll have to wait. If I just set the stream up quickly.
We can just watch it on the stream or something. Sending you the replay.
Yes. So Sonko, just look at the stream quickly and tell me how I get to this.
There is the join button, and you should press that in the upper. And there it should be listed somewhere. The replays. You can search for the game name. I think that will be.
I can't find it.
No, it's Sonko _replays.
Ah, there we go. Sorry.
Yep, you're in.
What's the password to join it?
I wrote it on the chat. I don't want anyone else to join.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you wrote it on the chat. Yes, I just streamed the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay, then I guess you have 5 seconds. No, you can't join.
That's all right, though.
So, all right. This is exciting. Like I said, I haven't seen that. There is a non-zero chance that it will desync because, it is recorded using the 1.16 client, but let's hope it will not. So we have Alien here and versus the Snail. I think the user in question didn't really change the username. Okay, let's watch it on fastest speed, and I guess You are not following. No, in this replay viewer, you are not following my camera, right?
No, I've got my own camera. But
Okay, that's fine.
I can follow you. Is there a way to follow your camera?
I don't know. No, it's we can just discuss the events and you will switch that anyway. So I increased it to fastest speed. For some reason it starts out at normal speed or fast speed, I don't know. So okay, let's just speed up the initial stages as we always do. And yeah, Alien is apparently a quite good bot, and I think many people just play it because it's the first on the list,
Yeah.
because they are sorted alphabetically. We have I think 90 bots or 80 something bots, but most of those bots are like student bots for theses and such. But I don't know if most of the bots, but like major part of them. Okay, there is some massive scouting going on, and Overlord. Okay,
So with the maps on this, they're all like 2-player maps. So you know where your opponent's starting, basically, or is it just? Is there?
I think this is a four. This is La Mancha. I think that's a 4-player map. No,
Yeah.
it seems to me that it's a 4-player map. And yeah, an expansion from Alien. Not much else. I don't know the skill level of this player, but I don't think that actually matters here.
Yeah.
Judging by the APM, I think he's a practicing player. I don't like to say low skill level because that's just not fair. And he is not on trial here, so
Yes. No. It's the same thing. But I think we see Alien coming across here with some Zerglings anyway. This could be trouble. I don't think.
One bunker can defend that, and that's a supply depot. Well, the links can run by, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't think they will. They are not even engaging. There is some massive defense going on, and the Overlord is scouted. I think this is meant to be a bio play, but the human player has a lot of resources, and I think he's just focusing on the front line.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's bunker's full. Plus, it's got a few more Marines there, so that's should be enough to hold this, I guess.
Yeah, especially with the SCVs and the repairs. I don't know, but Tyr is not Tyr. Sorry, Alien is expanding yet again. Fun fact: when I started out with AI development, Tyr was the first bot I forked for my own use, and in the end, that wasn't the route I was pursuing, but it was interesting.
Yeah.
I wrote one from scratch myself, but yeah, that was the. When I wanted to figure out how this thing works, then I forked Tyr. Not even forked, just downloaded and messed around with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few decent bots with on Starcraft 2 we can do that with as well, like Micro Machines open source, and obviously we mentioned the Sharpie framework earlier, which is pretty amazing.
What's your stance on open sourcing your bots? Because there are very varying examples and opinions on that.
Both versions of my bot are open source.
Yeah, so my bot is going to be open source as soon as I upload to GitHub, but I've just been really lazy with that. As far as like a general stance on the actual like competitions, we generally allow open and closed source. We used to kind of like doing kind of like source releases from some people, but yeah, it got to a situation where people were getting quite angry that their bots wanted to be open source when, so the path of least resistance was to just let open, close, and whatever go onto the ladder.
Yeah,
I think that's a bit sad because in Brute War you have a lot of good open source bots, and there's also a lot of opportunity to practice against the different bots. And in StarCraft 2 AI, currently there's a lot less of that.
Yeah.
We had this problem with shallow forks, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem.
I mean, we have that as well. Only last week there was someone that just dumped on us a version of additional pylons that had not changed at all. It was literally just the same bot. So yeah, even if you don't have full open source, the shallow forks are still a very big problem.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we kind of disqualified that and said go back and make some actual changes. So
Yeah, that's fair. It's fair, and it's even a debate how much change is in an actual change, and it's really hard to quantify. In the meantime, we have some hydras moving out. It's a pretty chill game. It's 13 minutes and no major engagement so far, but I think that's good because again, not trash talking, but it seems that this player is just practicing here and not as high APM as a pro player, which is perfectly fine. And I think that means that the opponent level is just perfect for him.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure he sees this as a challenge. Well, Tears units now. Why am I keep saying? Because so aliens units not getting engaged.
Yeah, it's still similar supply as well. So.
Yeah, they're pretty much evenly matched at this point, except the bot has 6,000 APM.
Yeah.
And yeah, when guys in the chat complain about APM, just show them this replay that APM is not really meaningful. And now there is an engagement at the natural. No, not anymore.
No. This.
No. Fuck this. No.
It's like doing this little dance. So there's some.
You know what reminds this reminds me of when you were kids and formed like little groups, and when you're in groups you're always brave and trash talk the other, and someone steps forward, but then comes back and goes this back and forth, and nothing ever comes to it. So maybe that's that type of behavior.
We have a few ourselves like that. So.
And we have engagement at Alien Culture now.
Yeah, it looks like Demon's going to take out the natural in the bot.
Yeah, and Alien is counter-attacking the base in the battle. By the way, this referring positions as something o'clock is so unnatural to me, but I guess it makes sense, but I could never get used to it very well. But yeah, this natural is busted. There was a hide at the natural. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's not something you usually see, I guess.
No, I think when it's upgrade time, just a random hatchery is selected.
Yeah.
Or you have some list and get the first hatchery in that list, and that's how you get null pointer exceptions sometimes. So I think this is not. I don't know how strong Alien is on the SCCIT ladder. I will check after this. But I think this demonstrates that this is a good test for practicing this. Yeah. Because it's definitely a little bit more responsive and maybe challenging than the built-in AI. But it does not seem to be a very strong one.
No, it doesn't seem to be able to engage very well, I think is the problem.
No, it's a combat simulator is a little bit borked. Okay, what did I do?
So that was...
Okay, I will speed this up because I think this will just... human player will just mop it up. Although human player is a little bit hesitant. Oh, now the lurkers are cleaning up. And there is a devourer. You really see that. Maybe Alien will win this.
So, do you have a bot on the AI ladder that's dominant or that kind of just kills everyone else straight on?
We have a close competition in the top 10, I guess. No, but Purple Wave is the current top bot, but it's doesn't have 100% win rate.
No.
So nothing like that, and I think that's good. And this game is almost near the end. Maybe the human player just GG's out. I don't know. It does not look like it is this thing or something.
I think with only 2 bases there, he's another fight. He's probably going to be...
now there is this.
Yeah, I think the Alien now has quite a huge supply lead as well, so...
Okay,
It
so
was quite close for a
that
while.
was it. That was it. Yeah, it was entertaining, and I think that's good. Okay, what I noticed that you still have one replay, SC2 replay. Do you want to do that now? Or?
It's up to you. We can show another Schnell replay if you like. That might be fun.
What? Let me check, because actually I created a replays channel for exactly this purpose, because I wanted some feedback, but we don't really have much. What I have is the replays from Cadenzi. Do you want to see that? I guess
That would be fun, yeah.
That would be good. I'm just going to turn the sound down because there was some.
Sure. Okay, so I probably won't be showing them in the order she played them. Just an introduction. This is a best of 5 versus Locutus. And one or two games are a little bit derpy, and I will just speed those up. So first is on Circuit Breakers, same game and same password, so you can join.
Yeah.
And this was live streamed, but only from Cadenzi's perspective. I do not have the Artosis replays, and I don't know if he wants to give it out. I completely understand if he do not, but
you don't need to pee, Sonko. Or I mean,
yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, what?
Got that. I was just trying to get in, but yeah, it's fine. That's fine. I'm in now.
Okay. So, but what I liked about the Artosis streams is he was like commenting the games he was playing very well.
Yeah.
And except for the last game, because then he really needed to concentrate. Okay, so it is Circuit Breakers, right? Yeah, Circuit Breakers. So, for some reason, I always confuse Circuit Breakers and Fighting Spirit, even though they are nothing alike.
Yeah.
And yeah, quite old map by now.
So do the maps for the competitions change quite regularly as well, or is it pretty much set at the moment?
On SSCIT, we have the same maps for the last 10 years, and I hate that. And on Snail, I'm already adding some new maps. Added some new maps, but I will be constantly adding newer ones. And the BWT cache is a pain, but at some point I will say, okay, it is your problem, Mr. Bot, now.
Yeah.
Okay, so Forge and Forge Cannon Wall from Locutus here. And Danzy is expanding. I'm not spoiling the game, okay? I don't know if you watched them, but I'm not spoiling anything. It's much more fun.
No, I did catch a few of them, so yeah.
So yeah, the Danzy games were very entertaining to watch, so you should watch them.
Definitely.
Well, maybe if you watch the replays, that's enough. Like Danzy wasn't really commentating on the games, just playing. But the Artosis replays, it's definitely better if you watch the stream or the video. Yeah. Because he was commenting on that, and he was like making such good remarks about them, and that I liked. And
can be kind of tricky if you saw Artosis' stream. It looks a lot of the time like he's winning quite easily, but there were some tricky points, and he also mentioned some of that. That's very nice to hear.
People tend to forget that Artosis is like a world top player. He is one of the best. Even though he's mainly commentating now, he is like he wasn't ever like the number one, but pretty close, and won a lot of tournaments, and still can beat your salty ass. So
he was pretty good for a non-Korean.
Yeah. And still is. I don't think like random guy in the chat can beat him. So him defeating the bots is not a surprise, but that wasn't the point. We didn't really expect the bots to beat him into the ground.
No. But to even give him like a half decent challenge was impressive.
Yeah.
I know we have in the Probots tournament they like to run like challenges with, I think Mana was done a couple of them, and I think Micro Machine got absolutely toasted by him a few times. I'm not sure if Micro Machine took a game, but I think
Micro Machine won quite a few games at one point.
Yeah.
Well, those were all some like lower level players, not like professional players or anything, but it took quite a few games at one point before it finally got stopped.
Sorry to interrupt, but there is a muta incursion in the natural of Locutus, and the Zealots are moving out.
Yeah.
So this is now the time of action, and I don't think Denzi has a lot to defend here. A few mutas come, and this can very well bust her natural.
Yeah, it's just a case of like, can he take out the Zealots before the Zealots can take out everything else?
Yeah, and even if they, well, I guess the Zealots can be taken out, but if the Zealots do enough damage, like we see here,
yeah,
a lot of drones, that might be just the end of it. Of course, I know what's the end of it, but I like to be I don't know what's the word for that. So cryptic, I guess.
Yes.
And but the muta count is quite high. There is a tab somewhere where I can see the army count, right? But it's like 11 mutas. Yeah, 11 mutas. Whatever, not important. So, yeah, no real defense against the counterattack here.
No, it's once he's got to this, there's not much he can produce really.
And I don't think, Locutus is not producing goons, even though there is a Stargate in progress. Maybe that's supposed to be a Corsair play. And yeah, I think we know where this goes, right?
Yeah. So it's a pretty good game then. Like, it's a pretty good attempt by Locutus, certainly.
No, it wasn't bad. It just Denzi was better. That's it. And
he's
now
got
the
some Dragoons out, so
yeah, but too little, too late.
Yeah, probably.
Well, there are only 6 mutas left, and they suffer greatly from this goon micro. 5 mutas actually, and I think he had like 2 or 3 goons out, so very well microed. And at the end, then they have just more stuff.
It's just like, and in come the rest of the Hydralisks and everything else. Yeah. Yeah,
and you might have guessed that this is not the best match. Yeah. So it was good. I don't think this was the first match, or maybe this was. I don't remember the order. I only remember what was the last match. But yet again, let's not spoil anything. I don't think fighting spirit. Let's have a fighting spirit next.
Okay. And so it just gets me half the time. I keep wanting to call Dragoon Stalkers, but they're not. It's like terrible. But yeah.
I recreated the game.
Cool. I will jump on that.
And okay, and I see you.
I'm in. Yep, that's good.
I see you.
And fighting spirits.
Yeah, this is a good game.
I will put that up there. But yeah, it certainly seems like Locutus has got like a lot of. It's very reactive to what the enemy is building, even though it kind of like was quite a late reaction. Certainly.
Why can't I see the minimap or anything? Oh, I messed up something. Okay. So let's speed this up to fastest time 2. And yeah, this I think this was my favorite of the series. And like Cadenzi is I don't know, but around 2000 MMR or more. I really don't know, but the point is that she's a good player. She won tournaments and shit, so
Yeah,
it's
certainly no sledge.
no. Actually, I didn't even. I saw games casted where she played, but I didn't even know that she was a her. Up until fairly recently.
Yeah,
It's like I just. I don't really like fanboy over StarCraft players. I like watching the games, but I don't really care about them personally.
no, I know what you mean. But yeah, something that's very different within the Brood War maps to the StarCraft 2 maps is like you have a lot of like 4-person maps and stuff, whereas we generally stick to the 2-person maps as much as possible.
Yeah, it's kind of a I don't want to say evolution, but more streamlined approach to maps. Like StarCraft 2 obviously builds on Brood Wars experiences, and they didn't bother making like 8-player maps as much because. Okay, and now we have the first Ling run in at the Natural of Locutus. Yet again, we have this 2-cannon wall, and the Nexus is being built.
Yeah, there's no easy way to get in there for those things, unfortunately.
No, it's basically a PVZ build, so
Yeah.
it's usually what you see. But in the meantime, Cadenzi has 3 bases, so that's kind of an advantage, I guess. And
Yeah.
both players are spending their resources very well, keeping the bank low.
Yeah.
And
not like me when I play. I'm like, pick up and I'm suddenly like 2,000 bank. I'm like, probably should
by
build
the
some
way,
units.
by the way, I might play Zero, the organizer of BSL in Brood War, and you have to know something about my playstyle. I suck bad, like I really bad player, and but actually it's not because he wants to play me, but we have an ongoing mustache battle. We have until the 20th to grow out our mustaches, and then the bigger mustache wins, I guess.
Or is it the
And
most manicured or the best one? You know, how do you judge that one? I don't know.
I don't actually know. I think the idea was the bigger mustache, but maybe it will be a popular vote.
Yeah.
And if he wins, I will donate to BSL. And if I win, he has to play a best of 7 against a bot and call me Mr. Big Brain Guy during the cast.
Well, it looks like you're doing not too badly so far. I don't know. I was terrible at growing beards.
Yeah, Locutus walled off nicely, but it's a 3 versus 2 base situation, and well, Locutus actually has more workers, so pretty even at this point. But
Okay.
Locutus is not really doing anything on the map.
It looks like he's got his nice little area down here that's quite defendable. So
Cozy little spot when he can tack up. And then he's just moving in and switching to Hydra. Swarm, I guess. It's no lair, so it's gonna be a Hydra blast.
yeah.
I don't. Can I see the upgrades? No upgrades. No, there can't be upgrades because there is no Evo chamber, of course.
Yeah.
So these are just your basic. Whatever.
It looks like he's very well microed. So
Yeah.
you're going to get the wraparound there from Denzi.
Yeah, but the retreat logic could use some work maybe, but I don't know. Actually, that I'm not even sure about that because I mean the Goose survived the journey home.
Yeah.
And now Locutus is in trouble.
Yeah. Definitely.
Nicely getting the gateway splitted down, and I don't like it when players don't bother with this. I mean, it's free damage. Why don't you do it?
Yeah, it's pretty much. You might as well. Including probably take out that forge as well without taking any damage. So
yeah, you outrange the cannons. Why not damage
yeah.
it? you can just switch targets anyway. And now the bust is just going on. And Locutus is in a hard situation, so maybe Locutus a little bit miscalculated this.
Yeah. It's still getting quite a bit of damage off of those Dragoons, though.
Yeah, but we only have 3 Dragoons, and 2 of them are in the top of the ramp, so this is not looking good.
No.
And this was the point when Cadenzi just took it easy.
Ah.
Foreshadowing intensifies.
Yeah.
I saw her on the stream just not even looking, just A moving.
Oh, wow.
She thought she had this game in the bag. Now narrator voice. She did not have narrator. She did not have the game in the bag. and cue some meme music as well.
Yeah, and now you see the Dragoons coming back. It's not going to be good for her. Actually,
from the top of the ramp, they are in a very good position, and the goon count is rising.
Yeah.
Like now they outnumber the Hydras, and I think they just didn't pay enough attention. Enough attention. As you can see, they're just sending Hydras in one by one. I think if she pulled back after falling under like 8 Hydras or something, she could have won this. And now I revealed the result, so...
Oh, that's alright. But at least Locutus takes one, right?
Actually, the final score was 3-2. So Locutus took
Winners.
the game.
Victory for the...
For the brute war bots, it is very nice to see the top bots. You really can't leave them alone.
No.
In StarCraft 2, there are a lot of bots where that's a lot less the case. Here, you really can't take your eye off them.
Yeah. Although I think the StarCraft 2 bots are evolving all the time. It's something that I see a lot. It's like
Definitely.
We're still probably a little bit behind on some of the brood war tactics. So, but
Big brain tactics.
Big brain.
Well, Brood war AI development has a head start anyway, so that's not that surprising.
Yeah,
we'll get there. One day we'll have like a big like brood war against StarCraft 2 kind of like show match. Like
How would you do that even?
I don't know. Maybe you could just have some kind of like common interface that can like play both games.
Yes, I guess Blizzard will need to create a game that's a combination of the two.
Yeah, it's called Starcraft 3. Tell them to get onto it.
There is a project called Mass Recall. I think that's the name. Are you familiar with that?
I haven't heard of it, no.
It's recreating the Brood War campaign in the StarCraft 2 engine.
Oh wow!
With the same units and everything. And I think that is something that would be funny if you would recreate like Brood War in the like the custom game mode in SC2. I wonder how would that actually change the game, how much that would change. Obviously it wouldn't be Brood War, but still.
It'd be kind of a cross between the two. It'd still be pretty cool. Yeah, I'd like to see that.
And now, I think that this is the point when there's just GG's out. Because you see the desperation links from the place, so this was... So yeah, pay attention. And this was
pay
awesome.
attention, yeah.
This was awesome. I really like this game.
It's a really fun game, definitely. But yeah. Oh, yeah, cheers for showing us those anyway. That's been really good.
Of course.
Yeah.
And do you plan anything like Schnell for SC2 in the foreseeable future?
So I did have some software that could do it, but the problem was that because we have so many different APIs and obviously different bots have different level of distribution, it's not always easy to get the number of bots there. So we tried it based on a server, and the server basically run really slowly, so it wasn't exactly great. I plan to upgrade it and plan to have a better version of that pretty soon. so it's possible. But it's just because of the way like Starcraft 2 AI works, it because of the way we work on the ladder as well. Not all the bots are freely downloadable and freely
Okay.
available for people to use. So that's a big sort of like stumbling block at the moment. So
Well, I mean, SSCIT definitely helped kickstart and seed the bots on the ladder for Snail, because if you put something on the SSCIT ladder, you agree that it can be used that way. So that's helpful. But I think if you if you kind of build it the place where you can do that, probably most bot authors would participate in that as well.
yeah,
That is
hopefully.
my impression.
Yeah.
But I don't really know anyone, and that does not mean there isn't anyone who said that, okay, I only want to play against other bots and I object to playing against humans.
Yeah. But it's certainly something that I'm working on, and hopefully will be out pretty soon. So maybe I can have a look also at some of the Java API you've done, because that looks really interesting. So something that might be useful for us, possibly. If we could kind of like run in and steal that off you, like.
Well, I mean, I would be glad if you could use some of the tools we developed,
Yeah.
but I don't think that's very likely
Yeah.
that you can. By the way, I just approached it as a way that if you want to do something like this, let's just package everything that the user might possibly need. So
Yeah.
I package a GRE. I don't know what other languages are SC2 bots written in, but yeah, you need to pack the runtimes because guy in the chat will not figure it out.
Yeah, this is a big problem. One of the problems we have is with a lot of the Python bots as well. They all take different libraries and they all take different stuff off of there. So it's that is a difficult problem. But again, working on it.
But can't you just package them together? Like I know very little about Python, but can't you do something like a jar file with Python or an exe?
So
I think you can do something like that. There you get all of the required libraries in one package.
yeah, it's possible. I'll have a look into it. But yeah, it's extremely tricky just because like of the how many different libraries that people require. For example, like a lot of the bots are running on TensorFlow as well, and that's like a 200 meg download by itself. And then you package that with a Java runtime, that's another like 100 meg. By the time you're looking at it, it's like a gigabit sort of like download just to get the libraries to run everything. But possibly not that much. I mean, probably a few hundred megs at least, though.
And they are they like a widely varying libraries, or pretty much the common? Pretty much everyone uses the same set of libraries.
A lot of them are using a similar set, so it's not all different. But there are some bots that use different libraries as well.
Would it make sense that, okay, these are the common libraries we provide in the platform, and everything else you need to package, like a halfway solution?
Yeah, that might be a solution actually. It's possible, like we could just pass that work on to the bot authors and say, if you want your bots to play against humans, package it this way and put it like that. So that might be that might be something we can do. But yeah, so it's definitely something we'll work on. And like, obviously, if you're around, I'd like to talk to you more about that at some point and have a chat, which would be good. So yeah,
I have a vast operational experience now, which means I'm constantly firefighting stupid shit. No, I was not prepared, not very well prepared, because this is literally the first time I'm doing something like that. But we are getting there, and I have some very good people helping me.
cool.
Also, Bytekeeper.
Yeah, well, that's good. So I did have one more replay from the SE2 ladder that I wanted to go to, but I'm not sure if you want to go through that now or you want to leave it there, Tia.
Yeah, we can go through it, I guess.
It's up to you.
I have more replays as well. I just don't know how much we want to go on.
Yeah, I was thinking of leaving it pretty soon, but it's up to you guys. Like, if you're happy to carry on, I'm happy to carry on. So,
I can do another game.
okay. So let's do the tier against Kagamine. Sorry, keep saying that wrong.
Okay.
Kamine, I think.
Yeah, it's
Sure.
Kagamine. I'll just load that up. But yeah, so. But yeah, so like I think like I might try and port some of my bot to Brood War at some point, which would be good.
Hope you do.
I'll put it on Snail and just let everyone laugh at it. Should be good.
I actually want to have a bot classification that you can upload a bot that is intended to be a practice bot, and it is not participating in ranked games. So it's not measured to the same standard. Okay, just a second. Replay is loaded.
Me too.
Cool. Okay. I'll just change over the game. Oh, wait. No, I had that set up for Brood War, so I just need to flip that over for a second. So yeah.
What I see as a common point, and just as a closing thought, there are a lot of common problems in both worlds, and I'm not sorry if I'm saying something wrong, but I guess like pathfinding, build order management, and like higher level strategies are something that not the same, but follow a very similar solution pattern in the two games.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So on an abstract level, there can be a lot of cooperation, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyway, ready to go when you are. Going in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so your bot's down here in the bottom left, and
Yes.
up against Kagamine in the top right, which is one of our older bots. I know HJax worked on it. He has worked on it for a while, I think. But yeah. So, not sure which build you're going for here.
Yeah.
It's
I'm not sure yet either. Kagamine is a very strong macro bot, so it's very cool to go up against. It also has generally very good reactions against a lot of the things you can throw at it. But like we saw the last episode of Probots, I managed to beat it with the worker rush strategy. So it has some weaknesses here and there.
Yeah, I take it this is not the worker rush strategy straight up.
No, this is not the worker rush strategy. That one doesn't take an assimilator.
Yeah. Looks like it might be more macro orientated, or you're going for 2 gateways straight off, so possibly not.
Well, it's not macro, I think.
Yeah.
Actually, my shirt and the logo is modeled more after the SC2 Overlord than the SC1.
Oh, controversial there.
Yeah. I revealed the big secret.
Oh man, that's horrific. You're never going to live that one down.
No.
But yeah, I think going back to what you're saying, like a lot of certainly like the combat command sort of like strategies and everything like that can be common between sort of like both Starcraft 1 and Starcraft 2. It'd be interesting to kind of like make some kind of framework that could just be like ported directly between both of them, so you could basically just set a setting. I think Command Center tried to do that. But
I don't think you can port them very well, or neither. I don't think you even should attempt that. But like on research and an abstract level, the games are quite similar. And I would go even further and I guess that some of the strategies can be employed in other RTS, similar RTS games as well.
Yeah.
But that's not a library that you can easily port, or I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, for instance, I worked on a combat simulator for Tier, and like I said, for the StarCraft 2 bot. Like I said, it isn't the greatest. It's at this point, it gets its wrong quite frequently, so I still need to make it better. But I did look at the brute war combat simulators for that. So one of the things I found was that for StarCraft 2, there are a lot of abilities going on during the battles. I think a lot more than in brute war. So you have the charge upgrade for Zealot, for instance, which you have to take into account. They move very fast and they do some extra damage on impact, although I think that might have been removed in the last patch.
Yeah, I think that's removed in
last part.
4.11. Yeah.
But they move very fast, and then you can get a immortal out, and it has its hardened shield, which absorbs some damage, and then you have all that, and on top of it, there's also the activated abilities, and I feel like StarCraft 2 has quite a bit more of that than brute war. So,
by the way, what version of SC2 do you use? Because with brute war, it's not really a problem. We use 1.16 and that's it. And even if we would use the latest version, the game isn't change in any fundamental way for the last 20 years. But SC2 changes constantly.
Yeah, we generally try to stick on the latest version. At the moment, the changes aren't too different because they've seemed to kind of like they're not really making big changes to it at the moment. I mean, they have done in the past, but yeah. So yeah, I think
they're coming in at the natural for Kagamine.
Yeah. So I think we had this Zerg line that was running directly to your base that just turned around. When
yeah, there was.
If that
I think that could have done a lot of damage. Yeah.
But it looks like you're able to take out Zealots against Zerglings, and not fun for the Zerglings generally.
Yep.
In terms of the version of StarCraft 2, what you mentioned, there is kind of a big problem for AI Arena, which is another ladder which uses the Linux build of StarCraft 2, but that hasn't actually been updated for the latest patch, I believe. So
yeah,
you're kind of dependent on Blizzard for that, for providing the latest version.
But the API is provided by Blizzard for SC2, right? Or yeah,
so
that's a huge delay.
Yeah, but for Windows it just updates when you update the game, so that's easy. But for Linux they have a separate distribution for that, but that's not getting updated as fast as the Windows one, so that's kind of sad to see.
I'm very skeptical that will be updated anytime soon, mainly because I think Blizzard have kind of ended mass support for Starcraft 2 at the moment. I don't think they're doing kind of like a lot of big changes now. They're just doing kind of like little balance updates here and there.
The Linux build was also specifically for DeepMind, and the development there has slowed a lot too. Looks like Tier is clearing up. I noticed there were 2 Roche warrants for Kagamine.
I don't know why that was. It was strange.
Roche warren is not a research structure, right? You can't, not like an evolution chamber.
I mean, you can do some research there, but it's just kind of like one item.
It has, I think, 2 upgrades, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they are upgrades, so it doesn't really make sense to have more.
No. It really doesn't make sense. No.
So yeah, I think that's GG taking the win against Kagamine.
Yes.
There is still one base, but
there is a base, but well, the pool is getting taken out now.
I'll speed that up a little bit so everyone can see taking it out.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. So GG.
GG.
So how many strategies do you actually have with Tier at the moment?
In total, I think for Protoss it's around 60.
60.
Yes.
Wow.
So there's a whole lot. A lot of them really aren't that great. A lot of them are kind of older things or tricks I tried, but there's still a lot in there that I can draw from. And also, when I come up with something new, there's usually something similar already that I can work on to and improve it.
Okay. So, what do you think is kind of like the biggest improvement now that you want to make to your bot?
Well, I'm not sure. There's a ton of stuff I want to do. One of the things I find is that I have a number of kind of all-in strategies, and they just stay on one base and that's it. So I really want to make some sort of transition logic to at some point start taking more bases, because a lot of them hit quite hard and can do a lot of damage, but if the enemy ever stops them, then you really want a follow-up plan that can help a lot in getting just a few extra wins out of that.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so that's cool. So I think we're kind of like out of the replays we want to go through, unless you wanted to go through any more. But
no, that's it for me.
Cool.
Well, we can still watch some of the dancing games. How do you want to?
It's up to you. I'm very conscious of time though, because I wanted to kind of normally finish this in an hour and a half, but gone a bit longer, but that's fine. But we could do one more if you like.
I would like to. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do one
If
more.
you don't, let's do one more. Created the game
right.
and
yeah. I just need to swap this back over to the Broodwall one again.
a lot of going back and forth between the games.
Yeah, it's more difficult to switch over on the stream, but it should be fine. Right, I'm in.
Okay,
Good to go.
starting in 5 seconds.
Custom. I just saw your stats on there. Wins 6, losses 25.
That's like from 3 years ago or something. So I haven't played for I don't even know how long.
It's fine. My stats would be even worse, but just thought I'd embarrass you totally.
I stated before that I'm not a good player, and I don't even remember when did I play those.
It's entirely fine. I'm not a good player either, so you're in good company, or bad company.
Okay, let's see. Speeding it up a bit, and yeah, this is a 2-player map with a weird layout. Actually, it's you should kind of go around. Okay, let's speed it up until there is something interesting happening.
Yeah, I mean, we're not desperate for time, so we can
Yeah, but let's not waste any either.
Yeah.
And cool. That's getting scouted, and she will start the natural in a moment. And she also scouted Lokitus here. A gateway and an additional pylon, no expansion for Lokitus for the time being. Yeah, so you have this huge plateau and you have to go around. And it is not a bad map.
It does seem like a lot smaller map than the previous ones. So
yeah, it
probably
is.
A lot more action.
It is a 2-player map. And the choke is a little bit wider to your natural.
Yeah.
And there is a 3rd base from Denzil, nicely done, hidden in the corner. I don't know if Lokitus will find that. Well, I actually do know, but I'm not revealing. And in the meantime, you can see the two zealot block on the ramp. This is something I like when bots do it. Like top of the ramp, 2 zealots, they are quite strong early game.
Yeah.
And yeah, especially in PvZ when you can expect things.
Yeah. It's the same on Starcraft 2. Zerglings are horrific.
Little assholes.
Yes, yeah.
And now we have 2 goons as well. And quite fast goons here, and goon range is already being researched, and we have Hydra range being researched as well. So, but it's a 3 versus 1 base situation, which might be bad, although it's a little bit greedy.
Yeah, I think like normally like you'd like to get a second base out pretty soon, I guess.
Yeah, but look at the worker count. Denzi has 20 workers and Lokitus 23,
Yeah.
so it's not entirely an advantage at this point. Although there are considerably more larvae. So.
Yeah, so that's mainly why it's Zerglings. Why Zerg likes to have more.
Some
more
nice,
bases.
nice micro at the natural.
Nice hits there. Almost take out the Overlord.
Well, now they did. And one Zerling does not get in. Like this mopping up, and I don't think Denzi has a lot of army right now. It's the 6 Hydras or so. Yeah, 7, 8. I always forget that in this replay viewer you can actually select the unit.
Yeah.
We tend to use the OpenBW replay viewer, and in that you can't select the units and you can't see the kill count.
Yeah.
And now the goons are at the natural, and I think they combine this.
I think it's doing quite well, taking out a load of these.
Yeah, Hydras are a little bit outnumber the goons, but I think the goons are still trading favorably.
Yeah, but it looks like the Hydras are going to win this fight eventually.
This battle certainly, but I don't even know how many Hydras died.
Yeah.
But there are.
Oh, it's going straight past him.
Yeah, there are more goons on the way.
Yeah.
That can turn out well for Denzi because we are switching, and that goon retreat is it went quite well.
Yeah.
But still, same thing. It's like they are trading very well against the Hydras.
Yeah.
And there is always more goons.
There's always more goons. Lesson for life there.
And now, and now the tides are turning.
Yeah. So goons are coming back.
It's kind of fizzled out. And there is a continuous goon stream, basically.
Yeah. And it looks like lots more from the back as well.
Lucky to still have more workers. Let's not forget that.
Yeah. 47. It doesn't look like either of them are making any workers.
No, but yeah, it's and now Lokitus is on the offensive.
Yep. And,
I think and Desi had the resources to make workers, so it's kind of oversight from her part.
Yeah.
And Lokitus is going to the 3rd base.
Oh, it's found it.
Thought he didn't know about the 3rd base.
Map hacks.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You're the guy in the chat who are certain that is my map hack.
No.
And they only win because they have 10 million APM.
Yeah. Well, 2,900.
Yeah.
It's hardly 10 million.
The APM discussion is always very interesting. A lot of people convinced that the high APM is going to make it just easy for bots to win everything, but you still need to use it well, and that's very hard for a bot to do.
And I wrote like almost more than a year ago. Then I think this APM limitation is only relevant when the top bot can consistently beat humans, like every time. And not even Alpha Star can do that. And who do you know who else shares my opinion on that? I'm gonna this is absolutely the name dropping, but yeah, when we were on the Pylon show we were agreeing on that. Let's have a bot that can beat everyone. Then we can think about the APM limitations. Because and Lokitus wins.
Yeah. Oh, that's a brilliant replay. Yeah, I'm of the same opinion actually, because I think at the moment we're still like worrying about like actually getting a bot that can use that APM well, and it doesn't matter how many APM you've got if your bot doesn't actually do anything useful with it. Like we have GensiBot that has like 10,000 APM. It's a brilliant bot. Like it's currently I think second on the ladder, but you put it up against a professional player, like it still absolutely gets destroyed. But so it doesn't really matter how many APM it's got.
There's a lot of cool micro tricks you can do with the bots, and that can look really awesome. But it's really the overall decision making that is very hard to get right.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think that's probably all we've got time for, because we are very conscious we're getting close to 2 hours now. So
okay,
but that's cool. But yeah, thank you both of you very much for joining me. This has been a really fun cast. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And hopefully have you on again soon sometime if you're up for that.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yes.
Cool. So, and everyone else, thank you for joining me. We'll be back next week with another cast. I'm sure someone will join me next week. I'm not sure exactly who yet, but we'll be pulling someone out and dragging them down with me. Cool. So
that's always nice.
Yeah. So thanks everyone, and see you all next week.